All right. So once again, I'd like to thank everybody and welcome you to our talk tonight. I know I'm taking a bit of time out of your nights, but we should only be taking about 30 minutes, and we'll leave you for the rest of your night. Okay. So let's get going. So the topic of tonight is say yes. And to start things off, before we say yes, we need to know why. We need to know why we do things. And tonight I'm gonna show you why you should say yes to better health, and not a month from now, not a year from now, but right now. Okay? So let's get started.
What will your last 10 years look like? Will you be quick enough for a game of tag with your grandchild? Strong enough to embrace every moment? Will you grow old with vitality? Or get old with disease? It's time to decide. The average Canadian will spend their last 10 years in sickness. Change your future at makehealthlast.ca.
So it's a pretty powerful video that I really do love. It's one that I hold pretty close to my heart, and I'm going to show you why that means so much to me. So my name's Dr. Brett Klesko. I'm a chiropractor here in the Edmonton area, and I'm just going to show you a little bit about myself here. So that's me and my wife, Sarah. We've been married for 6 years, and we live here in St. Albert. And 9 months ago, in a little bit, we had our little bundle of joy here. And this is Maverick, and he's the first of my family's grandchildren and everything. So he's got some big shoes to fill. This is my family. We have all of our members and everybody there, and we all look pretty good. But that was a pretty wild night, and the next day, we did. It's safe to say we didn't look so good. So I went to school and I got my pre-med done at Grant MacEwan University, or at that time Community College. And then from there, I moved to Davenport, Iowa. And many would ask, why Iowa? It's in the middle of nowhere, and they'd be right. But there was a very prestigious school that I went to, and it's called Palmer College Chiropractic. So at this school, this was the first school and the best school, in my opinion at least. And one of the reasons why is it taught us the philosophy of chiropractic, why we do what we do. And to me, that's more important sometimes than what we do. One of the most important things that we learn is that the power that made the body heals the body. And what that means is that the body has an innate intelligence to heal itself, to thrive, to live, to do the things it was designed to do. All you have to do is give it the tools to do so. Some of the other stuff we learned is that the body heals from the inside out and from the top down. And that we need to treat the cause, not just treat symptoms. It's very easy to search for symptoms and treat that, but if you're truly looking for the cause of something, then that's the true art of what we do. So very common thing that I grew up with and hear all the time, and something we live in, is the idea of nature versus nurture. Is it the genetics that we have, that we're born with, that are going to depict how healthy we are, how good we're going to be in our later stages in life, those last 10 years that we saw in the video? Or is it going to be our environment, how we were raised, how we were cultivated, how we were given the tools that we needed to survive in the form of lifestyle and nutrition and exercise? So when I grew up, which many of you are wondering would be the 90s more or less, I was told that the nature versus nurture argument was more of a 50-50 balance. 50% what you were given, 50% what you did. For a while there, heading into 2000, it really switched from there, and it was really going to more of a, it's more your genetics, almost to like a 75% genetics, 25% environment. But recently they're finding that that's just simply not true. In fact, it's the exact opposite. And some people, some experts have stated that it's more 80% environment and 20% genetics. A really good analogy I heard a little while ago was that genetics load the gun, the environment pulls the trigger. So it's lifestyle. It's what you put into your body, the exercise, the fresh air that you breathe, the sun that you get. So there's a fairly new branch of science called epigenetics. What epigenetics is the study of the surrounding factors that affect how our DNA or our blueprint is expressed in our body and how it works. And they're finding that all these diseases like cancer, autoimmune disorders, which are numerous, heart disease, which is the biggest killer, cancer and heart disease together kill more people than any other diseases combined in North America, diabetes, macular degeneration, losing your eyesight, asthma, allergies. These are all things that are not given to us genetically, but are expressed through damages through the environment. And they find that they're more of an on-off switch. And even further to go from that, more like a dimmer switch, meaning that if something environmentally was to come in and damage the DNA over and over, that bad gene gets expressed more and more and more. So this is good news because we have the direct ability to change that. And the craziest thing that I thought about this study of epigenetics is that the damaged DNA is not just passed through yourself and dies when you pass it to a generation. Actually, it passes 4 generations, which means that how you treat yourself will implement your kids, which is crazy nonetheless, because it's something very powerful that we need to always be watching. So aging, we all know this one, is damaged DNA. You damage your telomeres in the DNA, and you get a little bit older, and that's why we see those people. They're like, "Holy crap, you're 50," but they look 30, or the other way around. Or, "Holy crap, you're 50," but they look 70. So it's kind of a powerful thing, and why those people are like that is because of the environment. So what is health? I'm going to challenge your opinion on health with this. This is Arnold. He looks pretty good, right? Look at him. He's all shredded and big and ripped. And he looks great. He won. He was Mr. Universe how many times? And he looks really, really good. And so does she. She looks pretty good, right? She's nice and fit. She looks pretty good. But on the outside is one thing, but on the inside, are they truly healthy? And I would say no. Neither of these people are truly healthy. Look at Arnold's heart. It basically exploded on him because of all of his years of abuse. So I have my 7 healthy living rules that I always go by, and I try to teach my patients I'm in practice. And number 1 is water. We need to be drinking half our body weight in ounces in water. And what that means is that I weigh 180 pounds, which means I need to be drinking 90 ounces. There's 34 ounces in a liter. To do quick math, I need to be drinking 2.5 to 3 liters minimum per day. Many of you probably look at how much you drink and you probably don't drink enough. The majority of us don't. Sleep is another big one. We need to be getting a minimum of 7 to 9 hours of out cold sleeping, not tossing and turning, laying in bed, staring at our phones, but 7, 8, 9 hours of out cold. Next is exercise. That's self-explanatory. We need to get up every single day, 20 minutes to get the right amount of exercise that we need. And then getting enough sun. Up in Canada, we don't get enough sun. We need to get out there and have at least 20 minutes a day in the summer of the sun exposed directly onto our skin and nothing else. No sunscreen for 20 minutes. Next is de-stressing. I have a lot of people ask me, like, why is that so important? Well, stress never makes anything better. And I'm going to show you a few images that put that point to fact. This is Bill Clinton. We all know who he is. This is as he enters into office and 8 years later as he's leaving in his last speech. George Bush, before and after. Barack Obama. This picture was taken before he was even done. You see how much stress these guys are under, likely one of the most stressful jobs on the planet. You see what it does. So this is 8 years. This looks like 15 to 20. So with that, my number 6 is chiropractic. Of course, I'm a bit biased when it comes to that, but get your spine checked. It's important. Next, one of the most important is nutrition. Nutrition is hands down probably the most important factor and the easiest to change and adapt when it comes to taking care of your lifestyle. So eating healthy is something that's pretty tough. When a lot of us know kind of the pyramid, and the pyramid has been heavily outdated. So I will go by this. This is released by the Harvard School of Public Health. And what it shows is what you should be eating. Now, a lot of us look at that and you go, holy crap, fruits and vegetables take up half the plate. And then on the other side, you have whole grains and healthy protein. And this breaks it down a little bit further and it shows you what you should be eating and not getting. But there's one thing in there that actually I didn't notice for a little while that isn't popping up on here, and that's dairy products. Dairy products are no longer thought of being very healthy, and to eliminate them as much as possible. But if we look over, we look at the vegetable side, and it says to eat a great variety, and potatoes and French fries don't count. And then for fruits, eat plenty of fruit of all colors. It's really important. So these guys are the biggest thing that I think is missing in our society. So what does the research show about the power of fruits and vegetables? And these are just a few of the thousands of different types of fruits and vegetables that are fruits and vegetable research that is on the market today. I just kind of picked a few that were standing out to me. And this one here is a UCL study, a 13-year study where people who ate 7 or more servings of fruits and vegetables per day were 42% less likely to die of any cause. 42% less likely to die of any cause. Furthermore, they have a reduced risk of cancer and heart disease by 25% and 31% respectively. That is insane in the research world. You are lessening your chance of dying by a quarter and almost a third by our 2 biggest killers. Another study, developmental disorders and ADHD, autism, digestive disorders, and learning deficits. All the harmful food like refined sugars, protein, and grains and dairy products are found to increase these. Anthocyanins, the pigment responsible for red and purple and blue, has been shown to decrease inflammation by 22%. The journey of endocrinology and metabolism says that alkalinity of one's diet by eating more fruits and vegetables improves bone health, which of course means a lot to me. 3 to 5 servings a day reduces blood pressure in hypertensive people by an average of 4 millimeters of mercury. That's enough to be pre-hypertensive to not hypertensive at all, or hypertensive to pre-hypertensive. That's huge. Color diet against heart disease. The colored fruits and vegetables, a variety of them, maintains blood pressure, reduces radical damage, and promotes a healthy immune and reproductive system. These are all really, really important things for the basis of where most diseases come from. Lycopene, not just good for guys, but 55% less likely to have a stroke. Half. Fruit and vegetable juice improves skin, increases hydration, microcirculation, thickness, density. Cataracts in women decrease by 10 to 15%. Vitamin A has been shown to decrease the inflammatory process against arthritis, something that we will likely all get at a certain time in our life. And the synergy of phytochemicals in cancer prevention. Cancer and heart disease keep coming up. These are huge, huge diseases. So we ask ourselves, well, if we're not getting enough, how we can get more? And a very common answer is supplementation. So with supplementation, this is kind of what you see on the pills that you get. If you were to have a multivitamin pill package in front of you, this would be on it. It looks pretty impressive. You have vitamin A on there, B6, B12, C, D, E, folic acid, all these things, and they're showing 100%, 166%, 200%. This looks really good. That's great. Well, here is a nutrition label for an apple. That doesn't look so good, does it? It really doesn't say much. In fact, it says pretty much nothing at all. So if you compare those two, which one do you think would be better? Which one would you rather eat? What they're not showing you in the apple is this. This is 1 out of 12 pages of the known phytochemicals that are in a single apple. There is so much more to whole foods than there are for an isolated synthetic supplement that you buy off the shelf and hope that what they say is in it is actually getting into your body. Such a massive difference. So I'm going to change here for a little bit, and I'm going to bring in Sarah. Sarah's a holistic nutritionist, and I want her to talk about what she sees in her practice and how she kind of views nutrition as a whole. So Sarah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. So when working with clients, we do a few things. And one of the things is we take a real honest look at how the client is feeling. So we look at their energy levels, and, I get them to ask themselves how their cravings are and their digestion and any other symptoms that they may be having and why they maybe came to me in the first place. The other thing that we really look at is what they're eating. And in that, I really encourage them to take a look at where their food is coming from, because I think it's something that oftentimes just gets, we just don't think about and we don't know. So why is it important to, think about these things and to say yes to better health, like Brett said? And, things have changed. Things have changed a lot in the last 30 years, both in our health and in the way our food is grown. So for instance, in the way our health has changed, I just use my baba as an example. My baba is my Ukrainian grandma. And she lived till she was 100 years old, and she grew up on a farm eating whole foods, growing her own produce, and she had most of her functionality, she had her wit, she had her withitness up until the end. And I think there's a lot to be learned there. And then you take that in comparison to what our health state is looking like now. And with heart disease and cancer and diabetes and stroke becoming more and more prevalent, even though we have, great medical technology and everything, we're seeing diseases in younger people more often. And it's kind of crazy when you think about it. Like, babies are being born with plaque in their arteries. Why is that happening? That is not okay. And, whereas before, maybe, someone who might have worked in the hospital might have worked with maybe one child with cancer, it was so rare. They now have entire hospitals that are dedicated to children with cancer. So this is what we're dealing with, and this is why we can't wait a year or a month, like Brett said. We need to take action now. And, I don't believe it's coincidental that as a result, that this is the result of how our food has changed so drastically. And I just want to talk about that a little bit. It's particularly our fruits and vegetables and how our food is grown. So a trend that's happening is corporate farming. And because of these big farms that are entirely driven by profit and not by your health, there is a soil shortage. And so we're running out of good soil to grow our food. They are not taking the time. Like my baba, when she had her garden, they would rotate fields to give the land a chance to reconstitute itself and reconstitute the nutrients. And, it also decreased things like pests naturally. They're not going to take that time because they're profit driven. So instead, they are just going to keep growing on barren land and dumping chemicals into the land so that things become fertile faster. This is doing nothing for us. And I don't think that this is all a coincidence. So there's a lot less nutrition in the soil. And I took a look at some nutrient data from the USDA from 1975 and 1997. And there's quite a disturbing trend. And this isn't the only reference. There's quite a few I could list off. But in this particular one, they studied about 12 different vegetables. And they found for all of these vegetables, about an average of a decrease of 27% calcium, a decrease in iron by 37%, decrease in vitamin A by 21%, and a decrease in vitamin C by 30% on average. So because we're cutting corners in farming, we're kind of reaping the benefits with our health. And another thing too is, broccoli, we need to eat 4 to 5 times more broccoli now than to get the same benefits that we would have gotten 60 years ago. So this is something we need to be aware of. And at the same time, there are more stressors in our environment. And it is those fruits and vegetables that really can protect ourselves. But because we're not getting the quality and the quantity, we really are just, we need to take a look at things. And Brett mentioned supplementation and that sort of a thing. And I have some ideas about that, but I really think that what we need to do is go back to basics, back to what Baba did, eating whole foods and growing our own. And when I talk about eating whole foods with my clients, it always comes down to the same thing. It really does. We need our macronutrients, and that's complete protein from lean meats, legumes, things like that, clean protein. We need healthy fats, so largely in omega-3s, so salmon, chia seeds, hemp seeds. These can reduce inflammation in our bodies and protect ourselves a lot as well. And the other thing is with our carbohydrates. So we are so, ridden with refined carbohydrates. You think of any breakfast food and what comes to mind: cereal, breads, pastries, pancakes, like it's all refined carbs, and that's how we're starting our day. And so I talk to a lot of people about replacing with complex carbs, and specifically more fruits and vegetables, because that is, you know, the cleanest carbs that you can get, and it cleanses your cells and protects them on a cellular basis. At the same time, I know that even myself as a nutritionist, I don't get enough because of the quality issue. And so I think it's really important to bridge the gap with what we know works. And I think Brett will talk a little bit about that, but I will just say that I align myself with Juice Plus and Back Out 100% because they stand for eating whole foods and growing your own in a way that works, a practical solution for the problems that we're facing. So that's all I have to say.
Well, thanks a lot, Sarah. That's really good information. I really enjoyed that. It's so good to have a unique perspective of somebody within the nutrition business, because they deal with this day in, day out. So yeah, thanks again, Sarah. All right. So back to the show a little bit here. So Sarah mentioned something, and one of the reasons why we're all here today is Juice Plus, and Sarah brought it up. So this whole theme of what I've been talking about are kind of the downfalls, the shortcomings of how we're living in our society. And I kept alluding to fruits and vegetables, and it's a huge thing. Every patient that walks in my door, I have them answer a questionnaire of, I ask them basically straight up what they eat. Do they eat enough of it? And almost 100% of the people that walk in my door, they are lacking in the fruit and vegetable department. We're supposed to be getting 9 to 13 servings per day. Some people say 7 to 13. 9 to 13, I think, is going to be the new one. And it's a lot to do with what Sarah was talking about, with the depleted nutrients within it. But it's also the fact that it's shipped from so far. It's all the farming practices. We just need to get more. So how do you bridge that gap that has been created with this lack of quality? And Juice Plus is the answer for me. I promoted my practice, and I will never promote something to any of my patients without trying it first. Been on it for 13 years, and I truly do live this. So what is it? Juice Plus is concentrated fruits and vegetables. All it is the whole fruit and vegetable thrown into this big grinder, ground up. They use everything, the peels, the seeds, as long as they're good for us. And then they're dehydrated at a low temperature as to not denature anything what's in it. Then they just simply dry it out, put it into a capsule. There you go. That's all it is. The quality is there. They give you pure whole food nutrition. The label on this is not a supplement label. It's a nutrition label. So this is not a supplement. It is not a replacement. It is a complement to what you should already be having to help bridge the gap every single day. So what's in it? We have 30 different fruits and vegetables. On that Harvard sheet that broke down what you should be having every meal, it said, more or less, eat the rainbow, eat a variety. Look at all the colors that are on here. You have everything from your dark purple grapes and currants and blueberries all the way to your bright red cherries and beets, your green cabbages and broccolis. It's got the whole thing. Orange papaya, yellow pineapple, brown dates, I guess. But it's got the whole picture. So it really does give you every single thing that you need, that we should be getting in our diets. As a practitioner, I need to stand behind something that has research. This product has more research than any nutraceutical on the planet. I think they're up to 34 published right now, with another 3 or 4 on the way. And they're all gold standard, peer-reviewed, double-blind. This is the best research you can get. It's been published in multiple very, very prestigious journals by very prestigious universities and all around the world in different continents. So when I see this, and I know that if somebody has a question for me, the research is going to have my back. If somebody has a concern, the research is there to show me and have confidence behind what I offer to my patients. It is all non-GMO stuff. It is stuff that's really staying in line with as natural as possible, as high quality as possible. But my favorite is the NSF certification. Now, anybody that watches baseball or cares about the Olympics, you know that every once in a while somebody gets caught for doping. They put something in their body, and their response is always the same. I didn't know what I was taking was bad. And you know what? I'm not going to argue with the person, but I imagine some of them are not telling them, not lying behind it at all. They put in something to their body, but what they put in, they weren't aware exactly what was in it. NSF certification is a better than organic certification, that a third party comes in and tests the product randomly to see if it has what they say is in it, and to check for contamination with heavy metals, pesticides, anything like that. If you do not reach their standards, which are way high, then it does not get their certification. So that's one of my favorite, to make sure that you are getting quality to your doorstep every time. One of my other favorites is the Children's Health Study. This company knows that nutrition is important for everybody, and they know the fact that it is much easier to keep children healthy than it is to treat sick adults. And if you look at the results in this is one of the largest studies, if not the largest study done in the planet on humans. And if you look down at the bottom, 92% of children saw a positive benefit, and 94% of adults did. 92 and 94% of people that are on this product have a positive benefit. That is massive. That is almost a 1-to-1 ratio of Juice Plus positive outcome. That is huge for me. And because they give it to children for free, it's even better. The company also has I like to think of it as a meal replacement because I don't eat breakfast very much. So this is a perfect thing to kind of bridge that gap. But I also use it post-exercise and whenever I'm feeling a little bit hungry. And what the company has are bars and shakes. Once again, as you can see, gluten-free, GMO-free, dairy-free, low glycemic index, vegan, and they're high-quality plant-based food. That's all it is food. The company also has a tower garden. And this is also one of my favorite things. I keep saying that. But this is a way for sustainable living. This allows people to grow their own fruits and vegetables in their own home or outside. In Canada, mostly inside, but a lot of us can do this outside too. And this is my own tower garden I grew last year. This is week number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. And you can see by the trend that by about week 8, it was out of control. It was to my roof, and I was trying to figure out how I was going to eat this much vegetable and fruit that were coming off of this thing. So it's a very powerful tool. Top of that, we have them in schools as teaching components. We have them in multiple schools across Alberta and actually across all Canada and in the States. These are great tools for kids to learn where their food comes from and how to grow it. So the company also offers a business. The business is, it's my passion to teach health, but it's my mission to give people the tools to do so. And this business is just as important to my life as Juice Plus is to my health and to my patients' health. So if you give it your focus and you want to do this, it can change your life for the long term. Some people want a few $100 extra a month for just that nice little buffer. And some people see this as a stable income and more. Living in Alberta, I think we've realized really quickly this last year or so that the job that we thought was pretty stable may not be that stable. A plan B is always something so important. So it's entirely up to you. So your health is in your hands. I always say to my patients, you don't have to change everything at once. You don't have to do it all and take on the world, but just one simple change every month. Add something small, but subtle, but it's sustainable. Do something that you're going to be able to do for the rest of your life. And what you put in is what you get out. Do not expect things to fall into your lap without doing anything. Juice Plus is simple. It's easy to get into your body, but very often is a catalyst to bigger and better things that you can do very easily. So with that, long-term consistency trumps short-term intensity. A great saying by Bruce Lee, very true. And the doctor of the future will give no medicine, but will entrust his patients in the care of the human frame, in diet, and in the cause and prevention of disease. So we ask you to say yes to better health, not now, but right now. Take it into your hands and understand that you have the power to change yourself, to get yourself better, to not have those diseases you were told you were going to have when you were younger, because your family has it. I don't fall into that. Change now and go from there. You'll be thanking yourself many years down the road. So I always end my talks by talking about there's 2 different people on the planet. And group 1 are the type of people that they learn information like this. They see a hole in what they do and they go, you know what, I'm going to make a change. They take it upon themselves to make that change. And they go right out of the gate, I'm going to do this, I'm going to make myself better in the long term. The other type of people are the people that wait. They wait until something bad happens to themselves or somebody that they love. A lot of the times, there's no such thing as starting too early, but there is such a thing as starting too late. Sometimes when something bad happens to you, you don't get a second chance. Unfortunately, in the world we live in, most people wait. it is heavily outnumbered people that wait versus the people that do not wait and make a change. So I ask you to say yes now, not now, but right now, and make a change that'll better you. So there's three things that you can do whenever you hear information like this. You sit there and go, hey, I learned something. I like to talk. Maybe Sarah was good to listen to. The other guy was weird or something. I don't know. But you go home and you go, you know what, that was great. And you carry on with life. That's fine. We do that all the time. The second choice is that you heard something that made sense to you. You like that, you know, no, this is my time. I'm going to make a change. And you decide to do something. If it's Juice Plus, that's awesome. It's something else, that's great. We hope you do that. Third thing is to see that and like what you saw and what we do, and decide to join our mission to help spread information about how important nutrition like fruits and vegetables are. If you do that, that's great. And we hope you're definitely one or both of the latter two. If not, that's also fine. But I thank everybody for your time. I thank everybody for spending a little bit of your evening with me. And I hope everybody has learned something that you didn't know before, and that it can make your life a little bit better in the long term, okay? Thanks again, everybody. Have a great night.